the institutional structures in China are different, and there are some learned behaviors within a Chinese organization that you will have to face and grapple with. This is even more important for those in a supervisory position, where you are placed in a position where you will have to evaluate the work of your Chinese colleagues. You will have to give them feedback, both positive and negative, and you will have to squeeze out as much efficiency as you can from them. And here there are differences, undoubtedly. A couple of points which I realized, and I should admit that I didn't do too well the first 2 or 3 times I encountered such situations, but over time I learned. The first one is that providing feedback, you have to provide it much more gently than you might do at headquarters in Washington, D.C., in a corporate framework which is more Western than anything else. You have to provide it very gently, and you always have to be in a problem-solving mode, not just raising problems for people to become more aware of how badly they are performing. That's very important. The second is that you never do this in public. You never lose your cool in public. If you have to provide feedback, especially negative feedback, do it in private. Positive feedback, you have to judge when it will help to raise morale throughout the office. But feedback is very important, providing the feedback. Regular feedback is important too, that it shouldn't be relegated to a once-a-year activity. It should be done on a continuous basis. And the third is that to the extent you can socialize with the people in your unit, go out for lunch with them, go out for dinner with them, you will find that it makes for very different group dynamics than if you were to play the supervisor in that situation. Those are the only tips I can give about how to handle structured situations within the unit. In terms of interacting with the government, I think there is a lot of formality in the process. Don't be surprised if the first 2 or 3 meetings with government officials, you don't get much work done. This is basically for building the relationship. Now, on a slightly more cautious note, I did find that Chinese government officials in particular, but Chinese nationals in general, tend to be much more nationalistic than I felt in other countries. And therefore, any criticism of China, Chinese culture, Chinese ways of working could be interpreted fairly adversely. And therefore, you might want not to do this until you understand the temperature of the situation much, much better. That would be in your 3rd year, just before you're leaving to come back to headquarters.